Good morning, Irish Coffee fans, and welcome to Thursday. How about some U.S. news to get us started? The U.S. Justice Department's Civil Rights Division is now investigating the death of 37-year-old Alton Sterling after a cell phone video depicting Louisiana police aggressively forcing him to the ground, beating his head into the concrete, then shooting him at point-blank range surfaced on the web and garnered national attention. Both officers involved in the incident are now on administrative leave. However, despite calls for his resignation, the police chief has no plans to step down. The violent and disturbing incident has sparked protests in the area as the national spotlight is once again beamed at police brutality toward African American males. The security situation in Afghanistan remains precarious, Obama said yesterday, as he announced that he would be leaving more than 3,000 more troops in the volatile nation than originally anticipated. At the moment, there are nearly 10,000 troops supporting the Afghan government against the threat of the Taliban, Al-Qaeda, and ISIS. Yeah, I guess precarious sounds about right. The president had promised that there would be only a little over 5,000 troops in Afghanistan when he left office. However, that number will be closer to 8,500 following this announcement. For some context, at one point there were over 100,000 troops stationed in Afghanistan. Republican critics such as Senators Lindsey Graham and Bob Corker criticized Obama's decision to reduce troop levels in the first place, saying that it will have a negative bearing on the security situation in the region. And now for world news. Years of egregious human rights violations in the form of political and media suppression, forced hard labor, and outright torture earned North Korean leader Kim Jong-un and 10 of his cronies a spot on the U.S.'s blacklist yesterday. This imposes direct sanctions against the individuals, meaning that any property they hold in the U.S. will be frozen and they will not be permitted to do any business with any U.S. citizens or corporations at all. In what strikes many as an unexpected alliance, the U.S. and Russia confirmed yesterday that they will be cooperating to fight the Syrian al-Qaeda offshoot al-Nusra Front. Critics are worried that weakening the terrorist group would bolster the murderous Assad regime, but others claim that the U.S. has intelligence that al-Nusra is crafting a serious plot against Western interests, and thus U.S. intervention was inevitable and necessary. In election news, Trump's team announced yesterday that they raised upward of $51 million for his campaign and the Republican National Committee in June. Although this is the most successful fundraising month for Trump, especially in light of the fact that his campaign had a meager $1.3 million on hand going into the month, this figure falls short of Hillary's $68.5 million raised in June for her campaign in the Democratic Party. In a move that will be monumental for Hillary's campaign, Bernie Sanders is expected to endorse Clinton at some point next week. As the Vermont senator continues to drag the Democratic Party and its presumptive nominee all the way out to the left of Scandinavia, it appears that he is growing more and more content with the progressivism in the party's platform and Clinton's messaging. For Hillary to secure those voters who felt the burn in the primary election, this endorsement is crucial. Speaking of feeling the burn, Snoop Dogg will be headlining the Democratic National Convention's Party for Donors in Philadelphia, according to the Senate Majority PAC. For sports, Dwayne Wade is leaving Miami and returning to his hometown Chicago to join the Bulls next season. And Ray Allen, after not playing in the league for 2 seasons, is eyeing a return to the NBA with the Golden State Warriors to join Steph Curry, Kevin Durant, and the rest of the star-studded roster. And closing it off with culture, your favorite wildly overpriced, less than mediocre excuse for a caffeinated beverage just got even more expensive, as Starbucks has announced that they will be raising prices on many of their most popular items next week. Although they did not specify which drinks would be affected and by how much, you can already anticipate the heated outrage among those for whom it doesn't even matter at all. We hope you enjoyed your morning news with a kick. Be sure to share us with your now less informed colleagues and friends. Enjoy your Thursday, and thanks for tuning in to this edition of Irish Coffee.